Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to Side View brought by Women's Quick Zone and presented by BSV, Puma, Food and Wellness and MRI Hospitals. Just taking a moment to let that sink in, the battle, the shift of momentum, the bowling display and the Ellyse and Tahlia McGrath show. You expect that when two informed teams face each other. What do our experts have to say about it? Let's know. Joining me in the show are Brittany and Julia. Welcome both of you. Well, 300 is what Julia predicted, around 300. And Kalyani had joined us in the pre-show and she said the same. We'll talk about Australia's batting in a while, but before that, first thoughts on the way Sophie Devine used her bowlers, Julia.
Yeah, I thought she did a fantastic job. They kept the Australian opening or top order, quite tight. They couldn't get the ball away. They got a bit frustrated and ended up playing a couple of silly shots to get themselves out. So, I thought Sophie Devine did an amazing job, as did the opening bowlers through that power play. She rotated her bowlers really, really nicely. When someone started to get hit, then she'd change it up a little, or she'd work well with them with regards to the fields that she was setting. I think today was the most complete bowling performance I've seen from New Zealand. They got off to a really good start, and I just think that they actually bowled to their field for the first time, and I thought that was excellent.
Complete bowling performance from New Zealand, says Julia, and that is a big thing when it comes against a batting unit that Australia possesses. Your analysis on the way the bowling went for New Zealand, Brittany?
I actually liked how Sophie Devine use her bowlers to make you feel like, if it was in a T20 game and, she wasn't letting batters get accustomed to bowlers. So, so every other over it was a new bowler where you have to think about, what line and length, what pace, what they was bowling. So I was happy that, Sophie Devine did switch up, did a lot of switching up in her bowlers to try to throw the batters offline, which actually did help us because we see how Australia was struggling at once.
Definitely. And again, coming to that prediction thing of Julia, she said in the pre-show that probably Frances McKay will ask difficult questions to Alyse Healy, and there she is taking the wicket. Julia, what is it with your prediction? Just please share the secret with us. Might just help us.
It's because I'm really old and I've been around for a long time. But I think at the same time, I think the fact that, she just bowls in good areas. She doesn't give too many loose balls. And people want to try and attack her. They've got to get on the front foot. So I think that, I think Frankie Mackay's a pretty obvious one at the moment. And even her run out at the end there, she's so useful in the field as well. It's, it's just great to have someone like her in the team.
Let's just have a look at the scorecards as to how the things turned out for New Zealand in the bowling and for Australia in the batting. There it is, Rachel Haynes 30, Alyse Healy, that Frances McKay striking with her wicket. Meg Lannon, of course, couldn't have a greater impact with the bat. And then the two important partnerships that Ellyse Perry stitched in with Beth Mooney and then Tahlia McGrath. We'll come to that batting, as I said, a bit later. But then Leah Tahuhu, we had a word about her, Brittany, in the pre-show also. Came around the wicket to the left-hander, Rachel Haynes. And then what a ball that was from her.
What a picture of a ball. And that just goes to show that, New Zealand came into this game with a plan and they stuck with it. You spoke of how important Leah Tahuhu is going to be for New Zealand bowling attack against Australia, and she delivered.
Definitely. And Amelia Kerr, as we were saying, that playing her 50th ODI at the age of just 21, the partnership breaker bowler for New Zealand probably gets the big wicket of Beth Mooney, Julia.
Yeah, that was really, really important. I actually thought Beth Mooney couldn't actually read what Amelia Kerr was doing. She came down the wicket and then she suddenly thought, oh my God, if this is the wrong one, it's potentially going to turn past me. So I think that's why she sort of started to shuffle back in her crease a little and caught the inside edge. And that's the point of a bowler, is to confuse the batter and try and keep them guessing all the time. So she absolutely did her job today, and getting a key wicket like Beth Mooney, because they obviously put together a big partnership between Perry and Mooney and got them back on track. So it was important that they broke that partnership, and Amelia Kerr did a great job doing that.
We, of course, discussed that we wanted to see more of Beth Mooney. The fans out there, the Australian fans cheering for their team, they wanted to see more of Beth Mooney. But Amelia Kerr just made sure that she doesn't allow that to happen. Of course, catches win you matches. Maddie Green with that amazing catch. Brittany, did it reminded you of Deandra Dottin?
I think every game we are going to be getting a spectacular catch. What an effort by Maddie Green. We know normally she's a natural great fielder, but it was exactly what New Zealand needed to break such a partnership between Perry and McGrath. And you see how Perry was stroking those balls, but you know what it. Yeah.
That's the reaction of Brittany. Your reaction, Julia, with that amazing effort coming in from Maddie Green.
Yeah, it was perfect. I mean, the fact that she had to run, they're always tough. Those not that I've had to have her take a catch in the outfield, but they're always tough when you have to run and really time your dive on that. So it was probably a little different to Deandra's, but not just as spectacular though. But Deandra's was more of a reactionary sort of little bit of anticipation. But it's tougher on the boundary as well. Just that diving and such an important wicket in Perry as well. She was just starting to accelerate. And it's exactly what New Zealand needed at that moment. And that's what keeps New Zealand together. I thought they only dropped 2 catches today, and both of those were, right towards the end, and both were Hannah Rowe. So it wasn't too costly. But in the end, I mean, I suppose they got an extra 8 runs from Gardner, from Hannah Rowe dropping that catch at cover. So they were amazing in the field today, stopping runs left, right and centre, and took all of their catches. So well done to New Zealand.
As Julia rightly summed it up in the beginning, that it was a clinical bowling display from New Zealand, probably their best so far in the tournament. 270 is what Australia have to chase. Coming to Australia's batting, of course, Alyssa Healy departed early on, then Rachel Haynes also departed when Tahu came with that amazing ball. Of course, there was nothing probably Haynes could have done of that ball. But talking about Meg Lanning there, we actually expected that she would take that innings deep enough, stay on the pitch the way she has always done for the team. But then playing that shot was probably an unusual thing for Meg Lanning, Brittany.
Yes, probably I would say it was unusual, but that, as Julia said earlier on, the bowlers always had the batters thinking. And the fact that they did not get the start they wanted, Meg Lanning came in looking, and you see she was searching. If you look at the game, even yesterday between India and West Indies, a lot of the batters came in searching. So I think that have to do with the amount of games that already played on the wicket. You see that the wicket is getting a lot sticky now, and a lot of batters coming and they're searching for that ball. So going forward in the tournament, it's going to be interesting how good the pitch hold up.
Yeah, that would be something to see. And then we're talking about firstly, I'd like to get that view from you, Julia, on the way she was playing spinners. Like probably she made a bit of changes to her game than we saw against Pakistan. Just your first reaction and thoughts to that.
So I missed who the player was we were talking about. It just dropped out for that second.
Yeah. So I was saying that your views and your analysis of the way Perry played spinners today, before we go to the entire innings she unfolded for the team, but the way she especially targeted the spinners, it was a bit different than what she did against Pakistan.
It was a lot different, in fact. Yeah, she played a lot off the back foot against Pakistan, and this one she really tried to be attacking, use her feet. Pretty much from ball one, she was coming at the bowler, which is what the bowlers want. They're looking for those stumpings, but at the same time, they didn't really change their length well enough and made it probably a little too easy, just hitting them down ground. And she went aerial a couple of times, which was nice to see from Perry. She's normally quite a traditionalist and hits it along the ground. But yeah, generally she just moved her feet, used her feet a lot more, and came down to the pitch of the ball as opposed to sitting back in her crease.
And of course, we were talking in the preview as well about this game that top order of Australia was doing the job for the team for the last two games. They won, and it was like middle order wasn't tested until now. But then it was the time today, and Ellyse Perry, of course, Tahlia McGrath stepped in for the team. Your thoughts on how Ellyse Perry's innings, especially Brittany, special player, brings in her another 50 in the ODI World Cup. Just a player for these big matches.
I was so happy that Ellyse Perry got to bat today because remember she's supposed to be my tournament MVP, and if she have to be my tournament MVP, she have to score some runs and take some wickets. But just to show that how strong Australia battle lineup it, you think that when you get Haley and Mooney and Haynes and Lanning, you have Perry coming, you have McGrath, you have Ash Gardner, you have King who could hold her hand with the back. So they have such I would say strong all-rounder setup. A lot of people say, well, I'm a bowling all-rounder, I'm a battle all-rounder. For me, I think it's very hard to differentiate between if they are bowling all-rounders or batting all-rounders because they are at the same level. And for the past couple of years, Australia have grown in strength in terms of how stronger their middle order has become.
Of course, and the partnerships, that is what Australia wanted in the middle, and that's what Ellyse Perry did initially with Beth Mooney and then with Tahlia McGrath. The special one was against Tahlia McGrath, the 100 runs stand. So McGrath finding the scoring area, she took time initially to build her innings. That's what she always does for the side. Scores her maiden ODI World Cup half century. Special innings from her, Julia.
Yeah, it was great. It's been such a nice journey to watch Tahlia McGrath just grow over the last couple of years and just get more and more confident in her own ability. And as Brittany was saying, it's tough with her. I mean, I think she's just a true all-rounder. She'll be very crucial with the ball as well today on this pitch. She bowls a really nice Yorker. She bowls back of a length, and she's got quite a few variations. You can see Hannah Rowe at the end of her innings then just bowling some variations, and it really, really helped with trying to stem the flow of runs a fair bit, I thought. And so there is a little bit still in the wicket if you use those variations, and Tahlia McGrath will do that. But her batting innings at the moment, I mean, she's just flying, and I think she's getting that confidence from the people that are around her as well. It certainly would have helped with Gardner out there having a bit of a hit off who's going to hit it the furthest and who's going to hit it the fastest. So, but yeah, Gardner, she also was unbelievably good. 48 not out of 18. I mean, if this is enough for Australia, I mean, I think Gardner is the one that actually probably, just had that little bit of extra oomph for us. And that's her role. Coming in at 7 is for her to finish this game off. And that was just spectacular, the way that I wasn't expecting that sort of innings, particularly after someone who's been in quarantine for the last 10 days.
Exactly my point. Next, I was going to come to that only. Was she really playing her first game in the tournament, Brittany? So comfortable she looked on the pitch, staying in isolation and then coming in and just delivering for the side. Tells you why Matthew Mott or Meg Lannon in the press conference said that if she's fit, she's just an automatic selection into the playing 11.
The fact that Perry and McGrath was playing such an innings, it actually set up the perfect kind of innings Ash Gardner wants to play, where she could just come in with no, I would say no huge expectation, because people, they assuming that it just come out of MIQ and you just jump in the game, so they just think that she gonna sit back and just try to get herself, but that has never been the Ash Gardner we know. She's always been that aggressive player who can hit the ball hard, and as I said, 41 from 17. What a innings that is! It exactly what Australia needed in the end there to get to that close to that 300 mark, which is needed to beat New Zealand in this game.
Yeah, and as we said that this is the reason why we always call Australia a well-setted and well-balanced side, is they have a lot of match winners in their side. If one has a bad day, there is another one to cover it up. Obviously, they would have wanted to score a bit more, but then the runs that they currently have on board, 270 is what 270 is what they have to defend, and that is enough, I guess, considering the bowling unit that they possess. So just getting into their bowling now, Australia's bowling, you have an Alana King there. We all know that how she has impressed everybody with the kind of performances she has pulled in ever since her debut. How impressed are you with her, Julia?
with Alana King's been fantastic, and she'll be key for this. Like I said, she's got so much energy about her. She wants to get wickets. She's just one of those people that just wants constantly to have the ball in her hand. She bowls big spells as well, so it really can tie up one end, which can really strangle an innings for the opposition. So I think she's going to be key. Mind you, I think all of the bowlers are going to be a key today, because I still think this is a 300 pitch. Yeah, I think New Zealand just bowled very, very well to restrict Australia to 269. Obviously nearly a 50 there at the end by Ash Gardner, and that would have been a very chaseable target at around 220 if she hadn't come in. So to me, I think Australia are going to have to bowl very, very well. Alana King particularly, there's a little bit of turn in it. We can see Amelia Kerr in some good areas. And like I mentioned before, you've also got Ash Gardner coming back in for all those left-handers out there. And also we've got Wellington who can bowl and pair up with King at the other end. So I think Alana King's just finding her groove a little bit in this team, and she'll be tough to get away, because sometimes you do tend to want to target some sort of bowlers, and I just don't think she's the one that they'll be targeting. They'll try and target the other end. So she mightn't get the wickets, but I think that she may get the wickets at the other end and let her teammates get a few while they're trying to hit them around instead of her.
Brittany, you agree to that?
Yes, I totally agree, because I was thinking that, the two bowlers that New Zealand want to target is that fifth stick bowling pair would be between Gardner and Amanda J. Wellington, because we know how effective Alana King has been, and also Berry and McGrath. So I believe that for New Zealand to win the game, they will have to target to put Ash Gardner and Amanda J. Wellington, because after that fifth stick, as you realize, there is no other bowling option in Australia lineup. So if they take out, let me see, put those two bowlers under pressure, what going to be Australia reaction? How are they going to box that? Because as I said, they don't have that extra bowling option, 7 bowling option.
They don't have an extra bowling option, but then we of course know that New Zealand did a good job with the ball there, and they will be all determined to sort of continue that form with the bat as well. Their batters is also their 3 key players. At least they have been in a very good form. We've been talking about Amelia Kerr all the time with the ball and with the bat, but Susie Bates, she was splendid on the ground today, taking those important catches, Julia. But in the top order, she's crossed 1,000 runs in women's World Cups, plenty of experience, and that would be a great factor against the bowling unit that Australia has.
Yeah, and she's in really good form as well. She's already hit 100 and got a player of the match this tournament already, or 79, I think she got, but 100 in the warm-up games. And she's been around for so long. She's sort of the spiritual leader, I think, even though she's not the captain, of this New Zealand team, and combining not just her, but I think it's more about, as opposed to being about individuals, I think it's about the team and the unit that New Zealand have become and the way that they play. So between Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, Amy Satterthwaite, Amelia Kerr, and we can throw in a few of the other, like Katie Martin, who's in the middle order, and obviously Maddie Green, who's really coming of age. I think, they've got a really solid attack, and they work really well as a unit. So that really allows Susie Bates to sort of free up a little bit. She's been a bit unlucky, run out once with the backing up too much, and then run out the other day as well. So she'll be looking to stay out there and really support Sophie and put in a big opening partnership to really put the Australians on the back foot.
Sophie Devine and Susie Bates, of course, opening the innings, and then you have Amelia Kerr just anchoring the innings. She can anchor the innings, she can attack and score those quick runs as well. Amy Satterthwaite there with some good form. She's shown that form again in the last game as well, Brittany. But then the middle order of New Zealand, probably we're talking about Maddie Green, Leah Tahu. Katie Martin, of course, played a good cameo of 41 runs in the last game. But the middle order will have to step up if quick wickets fall, because we know that that's what happened today. Middle order of Australia came in and stepped up for the team, and that might happen with New Zealand as well.
Yes, their middle order. I would like to see how they use Leah Tahu in this innings. We've seen in the past couple of games, she came in as a pinch hitter to, try to accelerate the scoring rate, and it did not work out. So are they going to go with that same option of trying to bring her early to accelerate the scoring rate? But I think it's against the game against West Indies when she went up and it didn't happen, and then they had the likes of Brooke Holiday and Katie Martin in the back that didn't really have the power to execute the big shot that was needed. So are you going to take that power from down in the middle there that you might need and put her up, or are you going to just let it go as it is in terms of you have Martin and Mackay there?
What's
Okay.
your take on that, Julia? Just
Yeah, yeah, I tend to agree. I think that they've got some good hitters in that middle sort of order, but no really big hitters. We know Tahuhu can go big, but is there consistency there? Is it worth putting her in there in that middle order, or letting them just knock the ball around? It's a big ground, so there's plenty of pockets that you can run twos and threes. So maybe it's not necessarily about the boundary hitting and clearing the boundary. It might be about getting those twos and threes, having your Maddie Greens, your Hayley Jensen's, your Mackays, and obviously Katie Martin, just pushing around. You can still get, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like Australia got 15 in the last 2 overs, or they got 20, sorry. Yeah, 15 off both of the last 2 overs, which, is possible with 5 threes, or, it doesn't have to be necessarily clearing the boundary with the big shot. So to me, I wouldn't be putting Tahuhu up the order. I'd still back your middle order to try and do their job, and make sure that they're, rotating that strike, finding the gaps, and some good running between wickets.
Yeah, and that's a big opportunity for them to get another win in their cabinet and then just make their semi-final chances pretty strong. And that is what Australia will also be aiming. But you mentioned about Katie Martin, Julia. She's playing her 100th ODI game. Should be a special moment for her, for considering the long period that she's been with the team. Just from a wicket keeper's perspective and a batting perspective as well. We'll want to know more about her.
Yeah. No, she's been around for a long time. Great character. Has been in and out of the team, as you mentioned. Rachel Priest was there for a little while as well. Typical keeper, very gobby, but at the same time, all in good fun. She's not a nasty keeper at all. Her sledging's actually usually more at herself. No, I'm really pleased to see that she's got 100 games up. She's worked pretty hard to get back into the team and be there consistently now. And her glove work's been excellent so far. And this tournament, she's really fulfilling that role at sort of that 7-8. With her runs, and she always loves getting runs against Australia. So if she gets an opportunity in there, she's taken a few games away from Australia in the past. So she's certainly a danger person, but it's but she's worked hard for that opportunity, and that's probably for you, Britt. It probably is a good thing to know that you can get back in that team with all the hard work. I know you've been working pretty hard, and despite the West Indies doing really well, obviously you're always a chance of getting back in that team. So Katie can be your inspiration.
Yeah, Caddy can be the inspiration too. But then it's now my favorite time getting predictions from you both. Brittany, who can be the pick of the bowler for Australia if they have to defend this total? We have already discussed that New Zealand have a strong batting unit. Their top players are in good form. So who has to be that pick of the bowlers from the bowlers we have today?
For me, I wouldn't really say a pick of a bowler. I think that for Australia to win this game, their feeling have to be on par. Their feeling have to be top class. Their feeling have to, help the bowlers. New Zealand, Australia have our world class bowlers. We know that for sure. But we have saw in the past that sometimes when the fielders make those little small mistake, it tend to affect them. So I would think as a team on the whole, their feeling has to be good.
Okay, then Julia, any pick you have in mind and you think probably?
Again, I like the way Brittany's thinking. It mightn't just be. I think they're going to share around the wickets, and I think that the fact that they'll have, the two spinners going in tandem with each other. But I also think McGrath, with whoever varies their pace a lot, bowls into the wicket. Few variations with regards to Yorkers and different lengths and pace through there. I think they're going to be successful. So to me, I think it's going to be a very much a team win today if they can get over the line, because this is very gettable, as I've mentioned before.
It's very gettable, and Australia have to just click all the departments, the fielding and the bowling as well, to defend that total against New Zealand. So we'll definitely catch up this conversation in the post show, and after seeing how things have panned out, both the teams will be eager to get that 2 points and then get the chances of getting into the semi-final more strong. But then until then, stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.